out the obvious question, is the UK still a Christian country? I mean, what is a Christian country? What does it mean these days? And we know the basics, don't we? Don't steal, don't be rude, don't kill anyone. Envy is bad, vanity even worse. Love thy neighbour, don't sleep with thy neighbour, though. We get the basics, but how Christian are we? And the more fundamental question on this, and this is where it gets, this is really the centre point of the argument. This is really and truly the intricacies and the difficulties of this debate come down to this. How do we balance being a Christian country with free speech and liberal values that allow others to practice and believe what they like? So should a mosque be allowed to bellow out a call to prayer? Should a Jew be able to walk around wearing garb that clearly identifies their religion? Now, in some countries, of course, preaching or practicing another faith can land you in jail. In the worst cases, it could land you dangling from the end of a rope. And it's that dilemma, really, that informs, I think, this story. This is the teacher that's been banned from working with children after telling a Muslim child that Britain is still a Christian state. Now, that is actually a statement of fact. We can argue, and we will never know, I suppose, the thrust or the attitude in how this line was delivered, but it does get more interesting. This was a primary school teacher. These were year 6 kids, so they were around about the age of 10, who was referred to his local child protection board over comments made to a pupil in London. A senior detective from the Met Police's child abuse investigation team was also involved. What sort of country are we living in? A senior detective from the child abuse investigation team showed up on the case as well. So in this particular case, we don't have a name for this teacher, and that's probably a good thing as well. The teacher was suspended. The teacher was then sacked for this incident in which he allegedly admonished students. This is where I think is the crux. Admonished students for washing their feet in the sinks in the boys' lavatory. Police were called to investigate an alleged hate crime. Wow. I mean, seriously. Now, the feet washing thing, I don't know why anybody's washing their feet in sinks, for God's sake. But for some, that is a preamble to prayer, I believe. Now, the case is, naturally, it's intensified a lot of concern among free speech campaigners that laws intended to keep kids safe from harm from adults are being deployed to crack down on certain views, namely right-wing views. According to the child who made the complaint, the teacher told them the school was not a religious one, but there is an Islamic school a mile away if they wish to attend that instead. He said Britain is still a Christian state and pointed out that the king was also the head of the Church of England. Now, the teacher apparently crossed a line. Maybe he was angry. Clearly, he didn't think about the thought police lurking in the corner. His choice of words, like, well, if you don't like it, clear off, might have been a bit, you know, for a group of 10-year-olds, was probably a bit bewildering coming from your teacher. But the bit about kids washing their feet in the sink, no, sorry, it's a school, mate. Don't be washing your feet in a sink. Don't be doing that. Are we still a Christian country? More people go to watch a football match on a Saturday than go to church on a Sunday. Now, there's a sobering thought to kick this one off. 0344 499 1000. I'm intrigued what you think about the specifics of the teacher in this case. I'm intrigued what you think about the identity of the UK. From hijabs to turbans, Torahs through to the Bible. All of which, in a healthy liberal democracy, you can practice or be who the heck you want to be. I mean, we've got tribunals saying it's kind of okay for a bloke to get changed in a woman's changing room in NHS hospitals. So that's how kind of liberal we seem to be. Where's that line, though? Where's that line when you say, actually, we're a Christian country, we have Christian values, and because of that, there's a bit of a bullet point list of do's and don'ts. Is that how it has to be? And what some people might go, well, you know, I don't mind this religion doing this, I don't want them doing that. You get into all sorts of territory. And then you have to start, well, do we control the amount of people that are allowed to enter a country if they follow a particular faith? So we have a kind of almost a spreadsheet. We can have this many Hindus, this many Sikhs, Jews, Muslims, etc. But it's on a number base. You could never make that work, or could you? How Christian is the UK? 0344 499 1000 is where you will find us. Let's get a word on this from Dave Wooding, who's back with us, columnist at The Sun, political journalist of many years. Good to see you, Dave.
Hi, Ian.
Always good to have you on with us. Let's talk about this. The specifics of this case began with this primary school teacher at a school in London. We have no names, and that's probably a good thing. But this teacher has now been banned from working with children after telling a Muslim pupil that Britain is still a Christian state. And just to sort of set this up, let's have a little listen to the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, when he was asked this very question.
In terms of a Christian country, I was christened, so that is my church has been all my life, and we are, that is wired into our informal constitution. Of course, we celebrate many other faiths as well, and I'm really proud that we're able to do so as a country.
Well, that's what he had to say. It was a very wishy-washy answer, wasn't it? Well, I was christened. So, well, that doesn't make the UK a Christian country because you once had a glass of water tipped over your bonce. I mean, I don't think that's the definition of it, but he mumbled through that answer. But it is this is an interesting story, whether the teacher crossed a line in this case, Dave.
I mean, that's when we're talking about culture. That's part of the culture of Britain, Christianity. The church bells ringing is as much a part of what we are as the leather on willow on the cricket pitch or football on a Saturday afternoon. And in the same way, when you go to Istanbul, you hear the call to prayer, and it all sounds fabulous there because you're in the culture of that particular country.
Of course.
And the problem is when you start mixing cultures. I don't have a problem with multiracial society. Race is a different thing, but trying to merge cultures, sometimes cultures do merge, but if a culture is to treat women in a different way or to have hanging or various things, then we don't want that in Britain, and this is the problem. And I don't know, obviously, unless you know precisely what this teacher said. You see, the thought of me being at primary school and seeing kids sticking their feet up and washing them in the basin would be a bizarre thing to behold.
I would say that's a no-no. But then the bit the teacher probably crossed the line when he went, well, if you don't like it, go to the Muslim school down the road. I mean, they're 10-year-old kids. I mean, I don't know whether that was the right way to approach it from a teaching perspective, but it doesn't change fundamentally the fabric of that discussion in terms of that is a bit odd. It's like when you're on an aeroplane and some bloke starts praying in the aisle. I mean, I don't want to see, frankly, anyone pray on an aeroplane. I think that's the last place in the world I want to see someone. I'm thinking, what do they know? Have they been given a message from someone?
Some people are more
Don't pray on a plane, OK?
Absolutely.
If that's not a film title, it should be.
I know someone who was going up to a football match up north, and he took a friend, and he wanted to stop to pray every so often because it was a certain time of day, and he stopped the car and ended up almost missing kickoff. He was nevertheless not used to that sort of behaviour, and if it's in your culture to do that, then you would leave extra time to make a journey.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But look, I digress there really. The truth is that we seem to jump down the throats of people when they defend Christianity here, and when people are being over pushy about other religions, we tend to let it go and drift and not crack down on them. I mean, hate preachers is one, which is really taking your culture and your religion to an extreme.
Of course,
nothing seems to have been done about them for many, many years.
There's loads of evidence out there. Hate preachers, they're all over the place. These characters, they love it. They can't get out of bed unless they're wishing death on someone's nan. I mean, that seems to be what gets them up in the morning. I mean, it's extraordinary. And you're right, it does seem to get a bit of a free pass. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with a teacher in the context of talking about a country saying, the United Kingdom is a Christian country. Our head of state
it's a statement
is also
of fact.
It's a statement of fact. The idea that teachers would sort of shun away from that would be awful as well. I don't know how, the context of this particular teacher. I think he was probably, right to pick up on the washing your feet in a sink. But maybe we don't know what his attitude was or how he imposed this view of his onto the kids. But fundamentally, to say that the UK is a Christian country, as you say, Dave, is a statement of fact. I mean, it's just that.
If I went to an Islamic country, I'll just say Islamic, but it could be a Jewish country or any other country, and wanted to go to take Holy Communion, I mean, I'd have to find somewhere to go and do it. Nobody would just give me the right to have it done in any given
Have you ever
place.
tried doing a Bible reading in Riyadh High Street?
Well, no.
I mean, it doesn't go down so
as
well.
you were saying earlier in your monologue,
I get the hump about that over there.
You'd be swinging from a rope if
they'll hang you up by your ghoulies before
absolutely.
6 o'clock. You know, there'll be no messing around.
And we tend to ignore, and sometimes you hear the clergy say this at Christmas about the persecution of Christians around the world, and it does happen. And we seem to be bending over the other way in the UK.
We're putting that question out there today. Are we still a Christian country? Do you feel that we're a Christian country? And if you are someone who goes to church on a regular basis, and I gave that stat earlier, that more people go to watch football on a Saturday than go to church on a Sunday. Even Liverpool, 10th in the league, by the way, Dave, even Liverpool fans manage to get to church.
Well, yes.
From time to time.
We have to pray these days.
I was going to say, there's every reason to, isn't there, at the moment? A lot of controversy going on there in your club.
No, absolutely.
What is going on? Let's move to this story. Take a week off work if your distant cousin dies, say Labour. Ministers are weighing up giving workers a week off to mourn distant relatives. Think in-laws, cousins, uncles, nieces. An entire week for this. This comes under Keir Starmer's new workers' rights bill with, quote, chosen family covered for bereavement leave. Let's have a listen then to the Employment Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, speaking about the new employment rights.
The Employment Rights Bill represents the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation. What we said in our manifesto was that we felt day one rights on a number of areas were important, but that we'd also consult with business, with trade unions and civil society on that. Those discussions have taken place, and it means on one area around unfair dismissal, rather than it being a 2-year wait, it'll be a 6-month wait. That means the bill can go forward, because the risk was, if this discussion and agreement hadn't been reached, then the bill would have been held up further. It means, because of the pragmatic approach that's been taken, from April next year, millions of your viewers will have better rights at work.
She is, of course, the Employment Rights Secretary, is that right? Employment Secretary.
Education Secretary.
Sorry, she is the Education Secretary.
Right,
yes, and I said the Employment Secretary. God, you know, during that clip playing, Finn was talking to me, our producer, in my ear, because my eyes did that strange thing where it zips across words. So she is the Education Secretary.
But she is in employment, so I suppose you're all right.
She is indeed. Culture Secretary, is she?
No, she is in employment.
So she's the Home Secretary? She's the Prime Minister, isn't she?
She will be by the end of this programme, yeah.
She might, anybody could be. It won't be me, that's for sure. So do you take a week off work because a distant cousin dies?
Well, what this policy all seems to be about is it's this employment rights bill which is going through Parliament, pioneered or constructed by Angela Rayner, then late departed but soon to come back Deputy Prime Minister. And she wants to change the rules so that the family is not as we've traditionally seen it. She believes that the family has changed shape over many years. You know, the way, people don't necessarily get married these days. And so it could be a friend, a cousin, an aunt or an uncle who is closer to you than the traditional nuclear family of father, mother, spouse, son and daughter. So that they want to extend it so that even a friend, if a friend died, a close friend, you could take a week's compassionate leave up to 8 weeks after the death. Now, some people may say this is putting a burden on business because the cost of this, if people are going to take time off when a close friend or a distant relative it dies, then people may abuse it. That's the problem.
I mean, is it unfair? I don't like anyone that much, Dave, to take a week off, frankly.
Well, I'm not surprised if you're running this programme on TalkTV. I mean, your opinions may drive people away from time to time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, listen, I mean, I do understand that. I mean, there's many, there's some kids who are raised by their grandparents, for example. So their grandparents are almost parental in that respect. And, you could be really close to your cousin. One of my sons is probably closer to his cousin than his own brother at the moment, because that's just how it is. There's an age gap between them. But where do you draw the line? Because it gets into pets as well. I don't know if they mentioned pets in this,
Yeah,
but should you be allowed to take time off work if your cat... Definitely no time off for a cat, OK? I can declare that now as a matter of fact.
No, I think so.
Dogs, maybe.
I mean, if an aunt or a grandparent dies, I would say it's reasonable to have a day off to go to the funeral.
Yeah.
Or maybe another day to go and comfort somebody or whatever. But
yes.
I think a week off for a parent or a child or a
yeah, that's... I mean, some people, when a parent dies, I've been through that, and, you know, I took a week off and because I wanted to go back to work after that week.
Yes.
And obviously my boss at the time said, well, you know, do you want to take more time off? And that was very kind. But I didn't really want it. I didn't feel that that's what I wanted to do. And some people were surprised at that. Wow, you've gone back to work. It's quite quick, isn't it? 1 week. But I mean, what is the time on
Sometimes
that?
it's better to get to work and get back among your friends and
Without
your
doubt.
colleagues and feel that life does go on, unfortunately, or fortunately.
Yeah.
But you're back among your friends and your colleagues. They show some support and sympathy and compassion.
I think
you get your life going.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can take a day. Oddly, I'm taking a day off next week to go to a funeral next Thursday. And I think that's OK to take time off for a funeral, but taking time off because of your second cousin Shuey, who lives in Perth in Australia, who you haven't ever seen in your life, that would be pushing it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's going to be costly to business. The political element to this, though, Ian, is that it's Angela Rayner's bill. And she has recently sent a message to Number 10 via her allies that it would be unwise of the Prime Minister to water down this bill as it goes through Parliament even more. And that's with a backdrop of her possibly on manoeuvres, looking to replace him, talk of a dream ticket with Wes Streeting, which is being called Wangela. And
well,
you know,
there.
leadership challenges all over the place. You know, so I think that's what's being drawn.
I don't know how you could seriously show your face again if you were Angela Rayner in a I mean, she's elected. That's fine. That's a democracy. But in terms of running stuff, I mean, this is very much her kind of. You could, if you had to take a guess, if you didn't know, you know, who came up with this idea, you'd say Angela Rayner. All that workers' rights stuff, which is great because the minute you sort of form any arguments against it, it's as if you don't care about people's rights. But of course you can sort of straddle, you know, wear two hats on these things.
Yes. Well, don't forget as well, it would be rights from day one. You'd have these rights.
Yeah.
So you start work on the Monday, your second cousin twice removed dies on the Wednesday, and you take a week off.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it?